She had 9 months to live, and she refused treatment. This is Mad Men's saddest ending, and most people completely miss what it actually means. Mad Men gave us 7 seasons of watching Betty Draper be miserable, and in the series finale, while everyone else gets hope, Dawn meditating, Peggy in love, Joan starting her company, Betty gets a death sentence. Today we're breaking down why Betty Draper's ending is the most tragic moment in Mad Men, and what it reveals about the costs of living for other people's approval. Before we dive in, if you want more movie deep dives, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Beautiful, glamorous Betty Draper. It's hard not to look at this enigmatic woman. She is the embodiment of the perfect 1950s housewife, a woman any man would be happy to come home to. And yet, Betty is anything but happy. Her light slowly but surely fades, turning into cold bitterness. Once a model with a bright future ahead of her, her tragic ending provokes conversations of what could have been. It's often forgotten that when we first meet Betty on Mad Men, she is forgiving and sweet. Don comes home late if he comes home at all, but Betty waits for him with dinner and a smile. She welcomes him to bed with open arms and comforts him to sleep. One of the first things we learn about Betty is that her mother has only recently passed away. Because of his past, Don is avoidant when it comes to grief. He refuses to have any feelings of grief or melancholy and stays far away from any such complicated emotions. All he's ever done is run away and forget and then move on. As his wife, Betty finds herself unable to share her deeper thoughts and feelings. Her feelings of grief are pushed aside, and her emotions are written off as being dramatic. She deals with the death of her mother by herself, in her own mind. Where before she could forgive and forget Don's behavior, her suppressed anxiety and loneliness have now reached their limit. Her hands begin to go numb, and she struggles to cope with day-to-day life. When taking a deeper look, it's no wonder that the death of her mother is what pushes her over the edge. Everything that makes Betty, Betty, is what her mother raised her to be.
My mother always said, "You're painting a masterpiece. Make sure to hide the brushstrokes." She was really beautiful.
Betty's mother was a woman she absolutely idolized, a woman who raised her to believe that her only purpose in life is to be beautiful. She's what we today would call an almond mom, a mother who has an obsession with healthy food, her body image, and most specifically, that of her daughters. Mad Men tells us that Betty wasn't always the picture of perfection that we see on screen today. As a child, she was on the heavier side, and she enjoyed food.
Mommy doesn't let us have ice cream before dinner.
She afraid you're gonna be fat like she was? Your Grandma Ruth used to drive her to town to run errands and make her walk herself home. That put a stop to it.
Her mother taught her that the ultimate goal in life for a woman is to find a man and have children.
She wanted me to be beautiful so I could find a man. There's nothing wrong with that.
And it has shaped her into this very insecure woman who doesn't feel she's of any worth to anyone if not for her beauty.
Dr. Wayne tried to look down my neckline the other day. He sits behind me. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as men look at me that way, I'm earning my keep.
There's only a few times in Mad Men when Betty's demeanor lights up, and we see the lively woman that attracted Don to her in the first place. When Betty proudly shows off the outfit she wore during her time as a model, when she gets a chance to model again after being given the opportunity by an agency, and during her and Don's trip to Rome, where just for a little while, she's able to drop her life and insecurities as a housewife and feels free to be bold and confident. It makes you wonder whether a cosmopolitan, financially independent life would have been the perfect match for her, instead of a man. Betty was pushed into a life that gives her no satisfaction and leaves her bored. making it all the more tragic when she's used in a sinister game to win her husband over. And after being given a peek into the life she really wanted, she's rejected without ever truly knowing why. It makes this scene the catalyst of what to come. Metaphorically, Betty shoots down her childhood hopes and dreams and turns into an icy woman, bitter about the life that she was given. Now, of course, it's not impossible for Betty to escape her situation. However, we forget that Betty lives in a time without social media. She's cut off from the world, cut off from women who know better. She's surrounded by people who tell her she got everything she wanted, and when she tries to understand why she's feeling unhappy, she finds out that all of the deep thoughts and secrets she entrusted with her therapist were shared with her husband behind her back. She feels completely alone in the world. Time and time again, she's made a fool. Like when Dawn just disappears with Sally's birthday cake, leaving Betty completely alone with their guests. Or when Dawn used Betty as an experiment to convince clients to appeal to housewives. The only reason Dawn even married her was to obtain the image of the perfect American dream. He has countless affairs with other women and tries to gaslight her into thinking she's crazy or dramatic when she has every right to be upset.
I know about you and that woman.
What?
Damn it, Dawn, I know you're having an affair. You and Bobby Barrett.
Betty, that's ridiculous.
It takes a break in their marriage for Dawn to finally tell her she was right and that he's sorry.
Well, now I know I'm not crazy. That helps.
She slowly falls out of love with Dawn completely, growing feelings for another man who values her happiness. It all comes to a boiling point when Betty finds Dawn's secret box of photos. She's shocked by the extent of his lying, finally coming into perspective that she can't trust the man she married.
You lied to me every day. I can't trust you. I don't know who you are.
With Henry by her side, she's able to secure a safe exit from her marriage to Dawn. But with her divorce settled, she refuses to move on and change. She gets married to Henry and once again becomes a dissatisfied housewife living an isolated life. Yes, Henry values her happiness and is an honest man, but he's just as old-fashioned as Dawn and doesn't consider Betty his equal. During her marriage with Henry, her continued unhappiness grows into an unhealthy eating habit that she has been suppressing since her childhood. Betty is tucked away in a mansion outside the city with little to do. She turns to food as a source of happiness and gains a considerable amount of weight. A vicious cycle ensues as she battles with her sense of self-worth. Even though her husband is supportive, Betty refuses to be seen by him. After a long struggle, she's eventually confronted with Henry's change in career, forcing her back into the spotlight by his side. It's her obsession with how she's perceived to the outside world that gives her enough fuel and determination to lose the weight. Betty once said that she'd prefer to die young rather than lose her youth and beauty.
I just like to disappear at that point.
So when she finally finds the strength to take serious steps forward in her life, enrolling in a master's program for psychology, it's ironic that she discovers she has terminal cancer and will in fact die very young, that it's all too late. The doctor tells her she has 9 months, maybe a year with treatment, and Betty refuses. This is Betty's first time being truly in control of her life. For once, Betty gets to decide. Not Dawn, not Henry, not society. Her. The last time we see Betty Draper, sitting at her kitchen table, smoking a cigarette, reading her psychology textbook. She's dying, but she's still studying. Sally is in the background washing dishes, taking over the household because Betty can't anymore. The cycle repeats. But Betty's letter to Sally suggests that maybe, just maybe, Sally can break it.
Sally, I always worried about you. because you marched to the beat of your own drum. But now I know that's good. I know your life will be an adventure.
Betty's story is that of many women. Many women then and now can relate to her struggle, feeling powerless to escape a manipulative and emotionally abusive relationship. Growing up being told that happiness can only be found in marriage and motherhood, unable to ignore beauty standards with anti-aging and diet ads feeding on our growing insecurities. Betty's story is a warning, teaching us the importance of letting go of our unhappiness to change and live our lives to the fullest before it's too late. Thanks for watching, and remember, your value isn't your appearance. Your happiness isn't someone else's responsibility, and it's never too late to start over. Unless you're Betty Draper. Please like and subscribe.